Yeah, like definitely. And now you're talking about this, the question came up in my mind is that, like you said, like we show sometimes our vulnerability in front of others. And this very popular saying in the world, like, and it's very universal, like it's the same in India and even in Canada. And the saying is like kind of that, like first impression is the last impression.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thought on it? Like, is this a real universal too, or no? It's like maybe it's not that much too. Like, what you think? Like, is this? What's
Yeah.
give your thoughts, brother?
Yeah, so absolutely, we judge each other. Okay, that's, you know that, I know that, everybody watching and listening to this, you know that you judge people. You know, I judge you, you judge me. We know it happens. And we know that in some circumstances, we might want to suspend that judgment. But ultimately, our instinct, not only our gut instinct of am I safe with this person, but also our social instinct, is this person a part of my group, a part of my team or not? Okay, then, you know, that we judge based on that. And it can be, it's not that we can't suspend our judgment, it's just that's work for the brain. Okay, it's a lot of work to suspend judgment. Okay, so we do make a first impression, and we've got to understand that it isn't the only impression. If that first impression was negative or positive, that impression can get undone, but it's harder work to undo that first impression. Okay, so it comes down to, you will make a first impression. Okay, now, do you want to take care of that first impression, knowing that if it goes wrong for you, it's not that you can't undo it. Mm-hmm. It's just, it's going to be work for you and work for everybody else, and work that the brain doesn't want to do. Okay, because it's already judged, and it judged in an instant. And now the second impression, it'll take many, many moments to reassess that, and that's hard work for the brain. It's not going to like doing that. So I would say this: it's okay if you make what you think has been a bad impression, you can undo it. Okay, no problem at all. But I do want you to think, what is the first impression that you would always like to make that would be beneficial for you, beneficial for them, and how could you go out there to make that really clear, that first impression with people on purpose? Okay, because you can do that. You can make a first impression on purpose that benefits everybody.
So in what other words, like you're saying that we kind of like prepare our first impression, even if we haven't talked with the person before.
Yeah, because look, we might, ultimately, though we both live in Canada, Harpreet, you live over in Brampton, I'm in downtown Toronto. Originally, I'm from England. I think originally you're from India. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And there are many, many links, of course, with Britain and India, and Britain and India have, a great love of each other. Obviously, there's been some problems over time as well, but ultimately down the line, there's a great kind of respect and love for those two cultures have for each other. But ultimately, you only need to look at the way that I'm dressed and that you're dressed and that you show up to go, okay, so there is going to be a marked cultural difference between Mark and Harpreet. Okay, it's just obvious. And at the same time, there's going to be some massive similarities that mean we can get on. Now, given that we know instantly there could be some marked cultural differences where we're going to have to work at that, suspend judgment, try and understand each other, take things a little bit more slowly. Ultimately, you're a human being, I'm a human being, we're both battling gravity, we both have roughly 2 arms, 2 legs and a head in the same place. Our GI tract is the same. Our face is made up of the same elements in almost exactly the same place. And so there is, regardless of culture, regardless of how you were brought up, your value system, and how I was brought up, my value system, and the differences, there are too many similarities. And so I know what your basic humanness needs from me in order to feel comfortable. You know what my basic humanness needs from you to make me feel comfortable. And we can provide that to each other. Yes, we might make some cultural mistakes. We might have to reassess those, undo those along the way. But what we don't want to do is make any human mistakes, because there's no reason to. It's like, you're a human being, I'm a human being. We should be able to understand each other. There, I hope that makes sense to you, Harpreet.
What are some human mistakes you're talking here?
Oh, so things like, though we may have our different kind of cultures that we've grown up in, may have different ideas about how much space we should give each other.
Definitely.
Yeah, ultimately, space is important. That's like there is a sense of your territory, and there will be a sense of my territory.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, all I need to do is walk into a situation with you and understand, for Harpreet, territory will be as important as it is to me, but there may be some differentiations between that. Now, I don't know quite what they're going to be. Okay, but I can look out for those. I can pay attention to those. All I need to do is go, space is important to me. Space will be important to you. Let me just see how this works. Yeah. So there's that. Look, I mean, you're smiling at me right now. Okay. It doesn't matter what culture you're part of. It doesn't matter where you were born on the planet. It makes no difference. We smile the same. Okay. And so, though when I approach you, though I might suspect, from the early visual image, okay, different culture, maybe some different ideas, okay, ultimately, that shouldn't stop me smiling. Ultimately, that shouldn't. Now, in different cultures, smile levels are up or down in different situations, but every culture smiles, okay? Every culture smiles, and they smile the same. They might smile more in certain situations, and sometimes it might mean something slightly different, but the gradations are not so important most of the time. Everybody is okay with a smile on meeting. I hope that makes sense to you, Harpreet.
Yeah, and for the smile, like I also feel like when we smile, in the other ways, like we are also welcoming that person in our personal space. Like, let's have a conversation.
Right. So the smile is a universal signal for is good now. It means that this is good. Okay. Now, sometimes a smile can be used to placate somebody else of high status. It can be a smile to say, okay, we're good, we're all right. Don't rain down anything on me. I know you have power. It's okay. So sometimes the smile is used in that situation. It still means this is good. This is okay. Okay. It's going to be fine. Okay. So there's usually nothing negative in most contexts around a smile. Of course, we can find contexts where a smile might be negative, but as a good generalization that you don't have to worry about, smile and it should be okay.